Parabox, Ecclesiastes 1:7. All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full, and which flow from fountains are formed by hasty rains. These make their way to the sea, yet the sea is not filled therewith, and made to abound and overflow the earth, as it might be expected it would, unquote. For cause and effect to exist, thus for the observable laws of creation to take place, there had to be an essence imbued with the autogenesis that contained all potentiality, undifferentiated and unmanifested, as a prime principle of its being. This essence had to contain its thesis, both the thesis, antithesis and synthesis, in and of itself. It was triune, and was seamless in the seedbed of nothing, meaning no material things or existence. From this seedbed of nothing, it must have, as consciousness does, conjured the elusive and indescribable thought, as we and all sentience does, to which thoughts and being is an inherently reactive noumenal substance that, if nothing else is external to its orbit of influence, presents itself, then it will then self-react. This self-reaction produced fractalization, or copies of copies of copies. This phenomenon is seen self-evidently within nature and is made clear by both modern and ancient science, in all traditions known to man and of man himself. Structures mimic their microcosmic and macrocosmic counterparts in both form and functionality, by the triune of the thesis dividing into the antithesis and synthesis. It thence projected a mutually complementary paradox, a double win, which incessantly perpetuated this self-reaction or self-division of the initial thought or pure potential into this canvas of causal eternality. This is seen within the hemispheric structure of the mind, the lord of the duat, or the knowledge of good and evil, which is atop the serpentine spine, and that is held together by the hidden, yet nevertheless important thalamus, or, from the Greek, meaning inner chamber. Causality can only be born of the shattering of serenity. The shattering produces the vertical waveform of time and the horizontal waveform of space, to which the lessening of the velocity of the two temporarily, hence the lessening of the velocity of energy temporarily, produces the instance of material existence. Hence, for cause and effect to thus exist, there had to be a singular point in the cosmological timeline, where both cause and effect were one in singularity. I have pondered all of this for a very long time, and these are the only worthy explanations I have managed to yield from my said pondering. The reason material science will always reach a plateau in development is because what we see and seem is actually but a furious sea of imagination masquerading as reality. All that is brought to us is either doctored by the eyes or as a projection of the thought, or that fractal and noumenal essence which maintains this temporary experience and paradox of involution leading to evolution, or what we know as life. It also provides us the delusion of separation, that which is the basis of the self, not just etymologically, it is also tangibly evident as well. Observation is nothing without thought and the mind. Hence, observable reality also requires the primacy of these fundaments. These fundaments are common to all consciousness. Hence, we all derive from a singular conscious root. That is why, from this root, the tree of consciousness that has sprung forth into material existence, it is but a series of bifurcations from a singular trunk, from a singular root, right? That's why everything that we see within the world, or seem to see, is common to us all. We have a common understanding of the world, a common view of the world, or so it seems when we communicate with each other. Space and time are like the webs of spiders. If one views the web of a spider from a horizontal angle, then it will show a straight plane that is dotted with funnels here and there. Hence, space is either form or the void of it, which arguably, void itself, is still form or the potential of it, which is why pure potential or pure energy undifferentiated and unmanifested is titled the black star, or the void beyond the void. But I digress. Time is that same web, viewed from a top-down perspective, where we see the lines and threads that radiate from the centre. The further they radiate out, naturally, the more one will be able to observe greater degrees of separation between the thread of fractality. The central threads that were the first to be spun by the spider, that instinctual singularity point for the web and the thought of the spider to create, to then destroy its prey, contained all the potentiality in that point for the wider web that came to be. Pure potential, undifferentiated and unmanifested, hence contained all space and time, and its self-reaction merely projected that potentiality or energy outwards from its erstwhile birth is the solitary and subtle thought. This is Genesis, the descent of the thought by the will to act. Consciousness, the world that we see, the eyes themselves, is a projection of information rather than an inflow of it. That is what reality is. That is the water of life. The Aquarius, the man of water. To pour, which is the very etymological meaning of God. It derives from a Proto-Indo-European root. A verb, actually, to pour. Gue, to pour, literally. That developed into the Germanic Gott, again meaning God, or the higher powers, the superior powers of heaven. And of course that came down to us as God in the English. Literally means to pour. So therefore the experience is modulated by the mind, and thus the thought, or consciousness, is warped around it. As one may argue, the shape of the earth matters little, because our consciousness, or the initial thought, pure potential discharged through the prism of the mind, provides the perturbation within the void or the ether, the field. That is the motion that maintains the wheel. That is the seed of Lush, if you will. We generate the reality. By we, I mean the common source. That is, of course, consequentially, common to us all, which provides us this peculiar and rather mystical experience called life.